Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Crypto asset management company known as Hashdex has apparently joined the competition in trying to get a spot Bitcoin ETF within the United States of America. Yep, you know the old story. There are now, I think it's near 20 companies. I think that's the number, who have been openly applying for a Bitcoin ETF within the United States. The generalized idea is BlackRock applied. They're BlackRock. They're probably gonna get a thumbs up for it. No one knows if that's going to happen, as the SEC is still SECing all over the place. However, on top of all of that, we've had an enormous amount of news about companies who continue to move forward and see that BlackRock is now at the front of the line. I think it's October when we should receive a decision, but that's also where the SEC is able to drag it further down the line. And therefore, new companies keep popping up all the time who believe that they have a funky, fresh new way of offering a Bitcoin ETF and that they could potentially actually end up getting it. Does anyone out there know, and I'm asking because I don't, does anyone know exactly how much it costs to file all this paperwork? I don't believe that we live in a world where filing for a Bitcoin ETF is free, because we would probably have tens of thousands of companies doing it at the exact same time. Imagine if you were able to file a Bitcoin ETF. I feel like everyone would kind of do it. So I assume it's a hefty amount of money. And I would be quite sad to know that it's high six figures and or low, even getting close to seven figures, just because of the last 12 years of rejections, which The firm has submitted an application to the US SEC for a Bitcoin Futures ETF that will hold Bitcoin. Right. It's very different, and this is why they did it. ETFs are investment funds that trade on the stock market. That's what they're called, exchange-traded funds, with their value derived from an underlying basket of assets such as stocks, bonds, commodities, and other financial instruments. Similarly, Bitcoin ETFs would track Bitcoin's value and trade on traditional stock exchanges, except for crypto exchanges, and they would also be dealing in actual physical Bitcoin. That's the general idea. It's like having cryptocurrencies on a stock exchange, but in a fund. Right. Hashdex's approach differs from nearly everything else that we've heard, as one, they will not be depending on Coinbase's surveillance sharing agreement. For those of you who missed it, nearly every company is working with Coinbase, which leads me to believe that Coinbase is a lot more in the in crowd than we were previously let on, even being used by BlackRock as their surveillance expert or something for the actual case. Opting to acquire spot Bitcoin from physical exchanges within the Chicago Mercantile Exchanges market. According to a 19B-4 filing by the New York Stock Exchange ARCA with the US SEC, Hashdex intends to include spot Bitcoin into their Bitcoin Futures ETF and modify the name, changing it to Hashdex Bitcoin ETF. Seems simple enough. Here's a tweet forward right here. Some experts have responded to Hashdex's unique Bitcoin ETF filing, basically saying that they think that this might be something that the SEC is looking for, as the SEC has already approved Bitcoin futures multiple times. They also, I think they have approved a Bitcoin futures ETF. The news normally now is that people are trying to get an Ethereum futures ETF, but I think there are Bitcoin futures ETFs. However, this one would not simply be dealing in US dollar denominated pieces of paper that say this represents a Bitcoin. Their ETF, though futures, would also be dealing with companies and accumulating Bitcoin in the background so that it's not per se held by the fund, but like the fund is based off of the value of that spot Bitcoin that's held. I know it's very convoluted. Believe me, I get it. I wish we lived in a world that didn't revolve around corruption, so companies didn't have to do all of these things. However, yes, that's the another company is filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Will they get it? We'll never know. Or rather, time flies forward, so we have to be there at some point. If BlackRock, it is, let's see, was it May? June. I'll say May. May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. September, October, November, December, January, February. February or March, we should hear as if this company has been able to have their physical Bitcoin futures ETF. But also by then, for those of you who aren't keeping track, that's also the same exact time frame where we should definitely know if BlackRock was given the yay or the nay. If BlackRock does not get a physical Bitcoin ETF, no one is. So just hold on to your horses or whatever people are using these days. That's the Hashdex is trying to get a physical Bitcoin futures ETF news. Good luck. Good luck, buddy. And yeah. Let's move on. Also sure, why not? Whatever makes sense to you. A study of CME Group's Bitcoin futures and open interest indicates that the crypto bear market may be approaching its end. This is according to JP Morgan analyst led by Nikolaos Panigirisoglu. That's a name. The bank's market experts suggest that there's limited downside for crypto markets over the near term. This is something we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks, regardless of where prices might have been or are currently at the moment. The idea is that prices cannot logically go down forever. And for those of you who rolled your eyes, I'll explain. If Bitcoin's $25,000, you're going to have a lot of interest. Bitcoin's not $70,000, but people are like, it looks a little undervalued. Let me go buy some. If Bitcoin falls to $16,000, a lot of you out there would go, a tenth of a Bitcoin is 1,600. I've always wanted a tenth of a Bitcoin. Let me buy. If Bitcoin goes down to $8,000, true believers out there will probably try and buy an entire Bitcoin and or fractions of Bitcoin. The moment they do that, the price would move back up. There's only so much downward pressure that can be put onto any market before it ends up popping back up. And this is why you've been seeing, I'm certain, over the past 2 weeks, raindrops of news about a rebound in prices. Because there's only so low, it has nothing to, not always, to do with the metrics that you might see of like, oh, the Bitcoin band right here is looking like it's going to have a red golden cross, or whatever people are saying. It has to do with the actual market psychology. People won't let an asset go that low without looking at it, buying up as much as possible, and then the price ends up spiking back up. And where we currently are right now, and even have been for a while, anything less than $40,000 to $50,000 per Bitcoin, to me, seems incredibly, hyper undervalued. And that's just based off of all the news that we've been getting over the course of this year. I'm sorry that I cannot regurgitate the last 200 days of daily Bitcoin news being good and or amazing. However, we've only gotten a slew of amazing news. Even if you factor in the US SEC news, a lot of times that was just for altcoins. The Bitcoin news tends to be very, very good. Over the past fortnight, Bitcoin in the broader cryptocurrency market had a decline, yada, yada, yada. I don't have to go into all of that. But once again, you guys know the drill. We've been getting this kind of news for a while now. It's nice, as always, to see the optimism in the market. I think that, obviously, I think people just need the market to actually pump up. And I think that'll be a gigantic new phase in the market. But for some reason, every single time that prices go down, I guess understandably, I don't know, people tend to get really they move away from the market as if this hasn't happened like 4 other times before. But it's just normal market psychology, I guess. That's once again, someone else from another thing has said that the cryptocurrency market looks like it can potentially rebound, because realistically, if Bitcoin goes down to 15,000, how many of you out there are going to start buying again? And I mean like in mass going to be buying again. Yeah. Let's move on. Also sure, why not? Coinbase is apparently in talks with Canadian banking giants, trying to convince them to support the crypto ecosystem within the country, which the company recently entered as it grapples with regulatory uncertainty within the United States. Apparently, Canada's not doing too hot with cryptocurrency regulations either. I think Binance just recently left. I think Kraken was having problems with them. Gemini also reported it as well. And this is all on top of the fact that Canada has multiple physical Bitcoin ETFs. I think in the news, this must have been the beginning of the summer. It looks like that, what do you call it? I think because of regulatory something, a lot of companies left and a lot of other people have stopped dealing in cryptocurrencies within Canada. Coinbase, trying to expand, basically went to every English-speaking country to try and get paperwork. I assume they got it in Canada. It was never big news that I can remember. It's always like, oh, they got paperwork in Dubai. It's always something along those lines. They also tried to get it in Ireland and also, I think, New Zealand as well. But as the news has come out that apparently regulators and banks apparently aren't too keen on crypto within Canada, Coinbase with the Superman, I almost said Superman towel on their back. Cape. Superman has a cape on their back. Have gone to Canada to try and convince banks to basically be friendly with us. Now, last point, then we'll move on. How do you do that? Does anyone know? I assume you don't go into someone's office and shake their hand and go, please. Is there money involved? That's not like a speculative question. I'm actually asking because I don't know. I know how U.S. lobbying works. It's like, hey, there's a briefcase next to your new Maserati. How did that get there? That's crazy, right? That's U.S. lobbying. How do you do that how do you convince banking giants to fall in love with crypto? That's my question. In an interview with CoinDesk, Lucas Matheson, the director of Coinbase's Canada's operations, said that he has been having conversations, with Canada's tier 1 banks, bougie. He didn't identify them by name, but this website most certainly did. They said the big 5 are the Royal Bank of Canada, the Toronto Dominion Bank, the Bank of Nova Scotia, the Bank of Montreal, and Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. That one that's a very like 1700s kind of name. That's a little Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Do you guys have dragons? Like what kind of... Anyway, he said we have 5 banks that have the majority of Canadians banking with them. And so one of the things that I'm working on in Canada is working closely with tier 1 banks to start banking crypto and start supporting our industry. I'm hopeful that over the next 5 quarters, there we go, we will see some of the largest banks in Canada start participating in the crypto economy. How do you know that? Can any of you walk into a bank right now and convince them to give you money or to do something or to like start accepting XRP? What exactly, what What does the conversation entail? How do you get these people to... Anyway, so I hope it works out for them, because apparently the news that's been coming out of Canada, it's been lightly mimicking U.S. regulatory news where it ain't been too hot. So I'm going to assume that they have a plan for this, but I also don't... What's the how do I put it into words? Where do we get after all this? I feel like so much of the cryptocurrency space right now is like regulation and people paying other people to try and like us. Does it work? Like, will we eventually like get to the crypto promised land where we like don't have to worry about this anymore? Is this just always going to be part of our future? Will there always be a situation where we have to like hope and pray that banks like us, that they don't close down people's bank accounts for dealing in crypto? Like what could come of this partnership? Or like these conversations? Will Canadian banks start buying crypto? You understand what I mean? Like, what's the point? Like, why would you do this? Are banks already buying crypto? Will they start buying crypto? Will Coinbase give them some kind of an incentive? Why would banks need to join the cryptocurrency space in Canada? Why would they need to partner with Coinbase? This isn't meant to be like a tinfoil hat thing. It's like, I'm actually asking, like, Coinbase does so many really weird things around the world. Like, we're leaving the US, and then they're like, we're not leaving. Like, what's the point of all of this? Is it that Coinbase can do something that other crypto exchanges don't want to do? I assume Binance could have done the exact same thing, but they didn't choose to bend the knee, kiss the ring. I don't know. Anyway, cool. So apparently Coinbase is talking with major banks within Canada to get them to like crypto and start accepting it. What do the banks get? They're worth hundreds of billions of trillions of dollars. Like, I wonder what's in it for them. They're not there to be like, actually, I feel like we should just help Canadian citizens like make extra money and make passive income. Guys, let's be good people. One of you chuckled. That's because it sounds unrealistic. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I know someone was just like, I didn't chuckle. Sorry. Anyway, that's the Coinbase news. Cool. Okie dokie. Yeah. Let's move on. Also sure, why not? Binance is apparently going to start discontinuing their crypto debit card services within apparently all of Latin America and all of the Middle East. I'm not understanding exactly how that came to be. Someone was asking them on Twitter a question, and the people from Binance said, hello there. The Binance Card will no longer be available to users in Latin America. Latin America is not like one country. That's a huge amount of area in Latin America and within the Middle East. The products, like most debit cards, has been utilized by Binance's users to pay for daily expenses. But in this case, the cards are funded with crypto assets, and then it kind of gets cut off because you can't write that much on Twitter. So yeah, apparently this is done on the 21st of September. Customers in these territories will have until September 21st, geez Louise, for card transactions. Though Binance tweeted that this won't affect accounts, nor will it prevent users from sending or shopping with crypto via contactless Binance Pay. So apparently the card is going away, but you can still use Binance Pay. Is that on your phone? Is that in an app? Okay. So anyway, if you're in Latin America or all of the Middle East, what happened? Like the way that the most of the world works is like when you want to get regulatory approval, you get it in one country, then another country. All of Latin America is intense. Maybe there was no interest in this. Maybe no one was actually using it. I don't know. Many people I know, I mean, they're a little fancy. So that they tap their phones and they tap their watches to pay for stuff. Maybe no one wanted a physical card. I have questions. Same as the Middle East. Anyway, if you're in the Middle East or in all of Latin America, Binance is discontinuing their card. If you think this might affect you, send them an email, ask them questions. A lot of people sometimes are afraid to ask company questions. It's your money. Your money's with them. You got to ask them what's going to happen. You got to figure out, will your money be safe? Can you move it somewhere else? That's the Binance Card September 21st news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in water is wet news, because there's a whale on the screen. Apparently, Ether whales have been buying a large amount of Ether. In the last 7 days, they've purchased $94 million worth of Ether. It comes out to 56,100 ETH. Not much news here. It's more of another public service announcement for everyone out there, because I want everyone to understand what's constantly going on. I want everyone to be aware of the whale situation, constantly buying all the coins. Even as prices fall, wink, whales are still buying. So just want you to always know that whales don't stop buying, because, you know, people are expecting to make a lot of money from the bull run. That's another day of Ethereum and cryptocurrency whale news. Alrighty then. Let's move on. And then, sure, why not? This was also relatively popular news, and I'm not sure if it's because of the coin or if it's because of the blockchain. A stable coin pegged to the Colombian peso has gone live on Polygon. This was stated by the issuer NUM Finance, NUM Finance. Okay, the new stablecoin called NCOP, literally the letter N and then COP, is a traditional fiat-backed stablecoin and was described by NUM Finance is in a post on Twitter as an over-collateralized in a coin in a way that guarantees rock-solid stability and security. The stablecoin issuer called the launch a remarkable milestone on our path to constructing the NUM network. You have all these names in English and you choose NUM? And indicated that it will offer new opportunities for Latin American residents who rely on remittances. Here's the tweet for it right here, basically stating everything that I just said. According to a blog post published by NUM Finance, a unique thing about NCOP is that it will offer holders a yield. That's what every stablecoin does. They said the yield will be in the form of NCOP rewards, which NUM Finance said are based on regulated financial products. I see the number nowhere here. Nope, there's no, like, is it a 1% return? Like, what's the actual thing? Most of this article and other articles about this stablecoin are basically about how amazing it's going to be for people in Colombia and how they can't wait to service and help all the people within the community. I'll say this quickly. Some of you know exactly what I'm going to say. One, we do not need 9,000 stable coins. It just seems completely pointless. A lot of stable coins end up disappearing because no one's actually using them. Two, this feels like some kind of a cash grab, and if the issue was making sure that people within your country have access to traditional or any type of financial products, you would tell them to simply use Tether that already exists, that has billions of dollars worth of daily volume, so that, there's always liquidity for them. You would not create a brand new one. I had a third point. I don't remember what it is, but it's more of this was popular news, and it's one of those, okay, why? Like, what's the thing that's going on that I'm not getting? But apparently there's a multitude of people within Colombia who need. Do me a favor in the comment section. If you were to create your own stablecoin, what would you name it? And I ask you that because There's no way on this planet. 26 letters. You can make any combination of words that you want. Somebody named the company Num, and the name of the coin is NCOP. I'm not getting how that matches at all. It's kind of like Coinbase's base. It's just not there for me. What would you name your stable coin? What would I name a stable coin? Tomato coin. Tabado Papa John's? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of want to think of that. Like, what would I name a stable coin? I feel like this is one of those things, like, you know, like when you're trying to go to sleep and like the thing, there's like something just like stuck in the back of you. Like, what would I do there? Anyway, sure. So taking over for the layoff news, because before layoff news used to be very popular within the cryptocurrency space for some reason. A lot of the news that we get now has to do with stable coins and or central bank digital currencies being very popular news. I assume this was because of Polygon, but Polygon also has like 9,000 other things built on top of it. So maybe I just didn't understand that one too well. But yeah, cool. Wonderful. I feel like they could just use Tether. And listen, they could also just use Coinbase's coin. The USDC, I think it was. And I mean, it has leagues and magnitudes more liquidity than NCOP is probably going to have at any given point. Anyway, I mean, there are companies, I get that they're trying to make money, but it's more of it's like, anyway, whatever. I was simply going to say, like, it's kind of like these other altcoins that keep popping up and people, you know, we don't need all these coins. We have what we need in front of us already. But that's not how markets and money works. I do hope that you have all enjoyed in some way. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.